Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Larry King, and today we're going to talk about a paradigm shift that's sweeping through the media industry, and one company in particular that seems set to show the way. Strangely enough, this company is based in Johannesburg, South Africa, and today I'll be talking to Rikus Delpoort, General Manager of Fin, as in Finance 24, the company behind this media revolution. Hello, Rikus.
Hello, Larry. It's nice to be here.
Rikus, can you give our viewers a brief history of Fin24 to put this radical shift into perspective?
Let me start at the beginning. In 2005, we took two well-established financial titles, Finansies en Techniek and Finance Week, and consolidated them into one title, Fin Week. And there were a number of reasons for this.
Such as?
Firstly, to consolidate the readership figures into one magazine title, thus creating a new leader in the financial weekly market.
Which, presumably, you've accomplished.
Absolutely.
So what was the next step?
We did a joint venture with Finance 24, which allowed us to dominate both the written and online media platforms. And at the same time, it also allowed our advertisers to advertise across a variety of media platforms in English and in Afrikaans.
So the million-dollar question is, has it worked?
It has. If you look at Fin Week and Fin Weet, the Afrikaans one, we've seen steady growth, but the real spectacular growth has come from our online site, fin24.co.za. The number of unique visitors to the site have increased to 400,000. Now, to put this into perspective, this is almost double the number of unique visitors that our nearest competitor has.
Impressive. I'm going to ask Trevor Lowe, Assistant General Manager of Fin24, what impact these changes had on the selling of advertising space. Hello, Trevor.
Hello, Larry. Well, fortunately, at the time of FinWeek's launch in September 2005, we were fairly well prepared. We'd realized that prior to the launch, if we were to become the largest selling financial weekly in 2 languages, that we'd better use both those languages equally to tell our story. This is something that we did well before the launch of the consolidated magazine.
And how did that work for you?
Our advertising increased by approximately 30%.
Impressive again. But I gotta ask you, won't these two platforms, magazine and online, compete with each other for ad spend?
On the contrary, just as is happening overseas, our clients are finding additional monies to spend on online advertising, while at the same time maintaining a strong presence in magazines. They also feel that both media options provide value.
That's all well and good, but let's get on to the paradigm shift I mentioned at the beginning of the show. Am I right in saying that's the real reason why you're here today, Rikus?
Absolutely, Larry. If you take a look at what's happening in the world, you'll notice that there's a worldwide trend away from the more conventional media, like print, daily press, weekly magazines, and even TV, to the more online and real-time media platforms like the internet. And that's why we're so excited about the new platforms that we are creating, or are in the process of creating.
Such as?
Well, there's obviously fin24.co.za, but we're looking to introduce very soon Fin24 Trading, which will allow the online investor to trade online. And also we want to create a mobile platform, Fin24 Mobile, which will give you up-to-the-date share information, commentary and analysis. We had to change our payoff line, the Smartery, to incorporate the wider spectrum of platforms and services on offer. So the new positioning line of Fin24 is a world of financial intelligence.
Wow. So the question I gotta ask you, is there a future for FinWeek, the magazine?
I think there will always be a place for a well-written, well-researched financial weekly like FinWeek. We've seen that readers still want a summary of the week's business news, and they also want high-quality, world-class investigative reporting.
Mark, as new editor-in-chief of FinWeek and fin24.co.za, how have you coped with all these radical changes?
Well, things have changed. They've also stayed the same. Readers can be assured that content is still king. Our award-winning journalists will still strive for balanced and articulate articles, but they won't sit on the fence and they'll make calls. We feel that that adds value to the reader. We like to upset company executives if we can. Not always, but it's nice to get a phone call in the morning by someone who's not happy with something we've written, especially if it's a CEO of a company. Our award-winning journalists, Greta Stein, Victor Clerk, Sean Harris, Bruce Whitfield, Sizwe Jekwa, and Michael Coulson all ensure the integrity of the product. They all write well and are authoritative in their subjects. You can rest assured that these same writers lend their integrity to the internet. For example, we might break a story on the internet, say Sikonati writes a story about the Mango Airlines kicking passengers off a flight. This will be followed up in the magazine by Sizwe in depth, adding a new perspective to the story.
Well, let's hear from these journalists. Sikonati, over to you.
The beauty of writing for the internet is its immediacy and breaking stories before the competition. At a recent Trade Union Solidarities conference in Boksburg, we had a field day writing every possible angle to the story before the competition even got the chance to publish one article. And another most important thing about the internet is its interactiveness. The most satisfying feeling is looking at the readers commenting immediately on the stories, which also generates more story leads as well.
In the techno-literal world that we live in, most of our audience has access to a myriad of communications platforms. So as a weekly magazine, we can't afford to regurgitate exactly what we've said or seen on the net, specifically Fin24. So when various strike action news was breaking, for example, I wrote a piece on the fundamental core issues with the public sector labor market's inefficiency and their dissatisfaction with remuneration. And I gave my opinion on what I thought needed to be done and what the solution for the problem was going forward, which was a story far more appropriate for the magazine than it would have been for the net.
I understand. So what do you think will keep people coming to the magazine?
Quite simply, the bigger picture. As a weekly magazine, we try to look at why an event matters and what the reasons behind why it happened and what its impact on the broader picture is likely to be. This is something that is far more difficult to do on the net, where people are really looking for a quick fix.
As you can imagine, TV's my first love. Any ambitions in that direction?
Well, now that you come to mention it,
Tell me more.
still in its infancy, but we will be on DSTV very soon, and DSTV is very much like your own cable TV, Larry.
I like it. Any chance of a job there, Rikus?
Sorry, Larry. You know what they say, there can only be one king in Africa.